Hello and welcome to the video. I just want to take a moment and show you guys how to use StatCrunch to compute the summary stats in Chapter 3 and give a quick blurb on making a graph in Chapter 2. As you may have noticed, let's just take a peek-see real quick and then we'll get right to the gory stuff here. When you're in your textbook and you're reading measures of centrality, here you have the mean, median, and mode. And to be honest with you, I think that these things are kind of simple to compute. You can use your iPhone calendar or your cell phone calendar or calculator to add up a bunch of numbers and divide by n. So that's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. And to compute the median, we can do that by hand by just taking and sorting the data set and then going to the middle location. And right here tells us how to do that. And then finally, the mode of a data set is very simple to compute. You just look for the one that occurs most frequently. But I want you to avoid doing that. And I'm going to show you a quick down and dirty way in just a couple of quick seconds. When you get here to the measures of dispersion or variability in a data set, things become a little bit different here. To compute the range, very simple. You just find the biggest, subtract the smallest, and you're all done. That tells us, gives us a measure of the spread of the data. But then we get to this guy here. These formulas right here for computing can become kind of tedious and time consuming because you got to set these tables up right here, and it really becomes a drag to do. So I do not recommend doing this. And if you need me to be a little more straightforward, do not do this method. Okay, use the technology. All right. So what I'd like to do now is to flip over and to pull up a data set. It's only going to take one data set to show you how to compute all of this stuff here in Chapter 3. So here I've got a Chapter 3 homework. I just randomly selected one of these homeworks, and notice that we've got this data set over here to the right. Okay, and there's a bunch of questions over here that we can ask. My purpose is not to do the homework question for you, but to show you how to use technology. So it doesn't matter if you're in a homework, if you're in a quiz, or if you're in an exam environment. If you come over here to question help, you can always pull StatCrunch up right here from inside, but it gives you a blank StatCrunch, and then here you can manually enter the data set, and that's doable. But again, it can be a little time consuming. But on the data set over here, if you notice this little box over here, all of them will have this, right? If you click on this little box, it'll say open in StatCrunch. So you can go ahead and open the data set in StatCrunch, and there it is. Okay, so to compute all these summary statistics, all of them in one shot, all right? This is what I want you to do as you work on your homework, on your quiz, and on your exams. Okay, you'll have access to this. You just click Stat, Summary Stats, and here our data is in a column. You just do this, and then we're going to select variable 1, so make sure it pops up over there. And then down here, this is all the stuff that you can compute. And notice by default, you get a bunch of this stuff. Some of it's you don't even need. Standard error is something you really don't need, but if you throw it in there, so be it. I also want to give a special shout out to these two right here, the unadjusted variance and the unadjusted standard deviation. Please note, these are the population variance and the population standard deviation. So please note, if you have a population data set, it's going to matter if you use this one, which is the sample variance and the sample standard deviation. All right, you don't want to compute that when you have population, you want to compute these two here. Okay? Now that's just a special case. So 9 times out of 10, you'll just use these guys right here. And notice you get all of this. So this is going to be N, your sample size, mean, variance, standard deviation, standard error. We won't talk about that until we get all the way up till the end of the term. So that's something you don't really need. Look at there. There's your median. There's your range. And then when you read about your 5-numbered summary, there's your min, there's your max, Q1, first quartile, third quartile, Q1, Q3. And recall the median by default is the same as the median, or Q2. So it's all there. So once you have everything you want checked, boom, there it is. That simple, ladies and gentlemen. It is just that simple. All right, this is the way I prefer you to go ahead and do the compute these summary statistics. All right, so notice the mean is 0.80555556. All right, and then the variance is 1.3. Again, if this was a population data set, then all we have to do is come over here, stat column. Again, we'll choose our variable here. And again, we can now go ahead and select the population mean, which is going to compute exactly the same. So we can go ahead and do the median, range, minimum, max. And what I'm doing to select all these, holding down on the PC here is the control button, whatever it takes on your Mac. I don't know how to work a Mac. Q1, Q3, and again later, if needed, there's your IQR. And now we want the population variance, population standard deviation. So again, we just pop the button and boom, population variance right there. Remember, that's divided by N. And the unadjusted standard deviation, this number is the square root of this number. All right? So that's all I want you to do regarding this data set. And if you haven't quite worked with the chapter 2 stuff, notice here you can just go graph, and notice here you got a bar. We don't have categorical data. Pie chart, you can create a chart. Here we can just go columns, variable. Okay, just go compute. There's kind of gives us a crazy looking chart. All right, or you can come over here, graph. Okay, and then you can create your box plot. If you wanted a box plot, just click here, compute. There it is. Graph. Come over here, stem and leaf plot. Select the variable, compute. There it is. Okay, just depending on how you need to do this, you can click the options and all kinds of crazy things. Have a lot of fun with this. Dot plot, means plot, scatter plot we'll get to later. All right, so all of these plots. So here's our histogram. Since we have just single variable here, compute, just check that. I'm just going to click compute. There it is. Okay, so this is a discrete data set. Then we'll come on down. And here is, you get these. I just want to point out on this here, you can make these things bigger by doing the pop out so it can help you see. Okay, and then you can just come over here and check it out. You can move this thing around, probably even make it a little smaller, I guess. There you go. Yeah, that'll work. So, that one looks like it might be it. So, boom, just close that out. Check it, select, move on. Okay. So this is my quick video on how to compute summary stats and get you a down and dirty looking sort of thing here. All right, I hope that helps out, and I'll get another video posted on how to access StatCrunch in general outside of MyMathLab for your chapter, module 2, which is based on chapter 4. All right, have a great one.